Okay, welcome back. This is the end of Dragon Age Origins. It's taken me 54 hours to get this far. I'm not showing you the insides of Fort Draken as I fought my way through the fort because, well, I recorded it and then my game crashed and I lost 70% of that recording, and I'm not willing to go through 10 more minutes. I'm not willing to redo that, so deal with it. Besides, it's mostly pointless combat, really. It's not all that difficult, ultimately. Just have enough potions, have a healer, have a rogue with you. You'll pull through. Also, the Archdemon, despite looking like a badass, is not all that powerful either. You'll see. Okay, well, let me just take their stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna give her this.
Armed and dangerous, ready for action! My fine brothers, this is not over.
And then it was over. With the Archdemon dead, the Darkspawn horde quickly crumbled. Most fled back into the deep roads. They would remain a threat in the years to come, but the Blight had been ended before it had truly begun. Ferelden had been saved, and the entire kingdom rose up to joyously greet its queen. The Grey Wardens stood redeemed, and a new age had begun. But at what cost?
I don't know. We'll see.
My friends, we are gathered to celebrate those responsible for our victory. Of those who stood against the Darkspawn siege of Denerim, there is one in particular who deserves commendation. The one who led the charge against the Archdemon and killed it remains with us still. An inspiration to all he saved that day. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the hero of Ferelden, the first Grey Warden to defeat the Blight since Garahel 4 centuries ago. Grey Warden, it is hard to imagine how you could have aided Ferelden more. I think it only appropriate that I return the favor. Is there any boon you might request of Ferelden's queen?
I only ask that my people be aided against the Darkspawn.
Very well. My people seem to forget the plight of yours all too easily, do we not? Let it be known that Ferelden hereby offers its full military support to the new King of Orzammar, and will aid in reclaiming the parts of the deep roads it has lost. Let it also be known that the Arling of Amaranthine, once the land of Arl How, is now granted to the Grey Wardens. There they can rebuild, following the example of those who went before them. What are your plans? Will you remain with the Grey Wardens?
I might want to add that if you pick Harrowmont as a king, it's useless that you ask for Ferelden's aid, because Harrowmont won't let them in the city. The Darkspawn are still a threat. The Grey Wardens need me.
I am certain they will be relieved to know your intentions. There is a group of eager Ferelden citizens waiting outside to get a look at their hero. I suggest you make at least a brief appearance before they storm the gate. Just tell the guard at the door when you are ready. Allow me to offer you my personal congratulations, Warden. I must admit that while I did not share my father's pessimism regarding the Grey Wardens, I had my doubts that such a small number of you could be victorious. Yet here you are.
Damned right I am.
Normally I would call that bravado, but it seems your confidence is deserved. Now I see Arl Eamon gesturing to me. There is more work to be done. I must take my leave of you, I fear. Enjoy the rest of the celebration, Warden. I shall speak to you again before the day is done.
Is Arl Eamon even here? I don't think he is. No, he's not. If Alistair was killed... No, if Alistair doesn't become king, he's not here. If it's just a Nora Soul ruler and Loghain is alive.
So it appears that Riordan was wrong. I find it difficult to believe that he deliberately misled us. Have you another explanation for what happened?
You're asking me that after you slept with Morrigan for the exact purpose of not dying? Morrigan helped with her magic.
I should have known. The witch disappeared not long after the battle and has not been seen since. I assume this was expected. Still, the Orlesian Grey Wardens have been persistent in their questions. I intend to keep any thoughts on the matter to myself. I understand you're returning to the Wardens. as am I. I've been tapped to lead up their recruitment efforts here in Ferelden. Anora's influence, no doubt. I would have preferred she not interfered.
She's her father's daughter.
So it appears. Allow me to say before I go that you've earned my respect. Odd that I ended up here saying that, but there it is. Return to your celebration. I shall see you with the Wardens.
Shale?
So it survived after all. My impression that all creatures made of flesh were hopelessly squishy was, premature.
You're right about most people, Shale.
No doubt. It has proven to me, however, that fleshiness does not automatically mean squishiness. It has made me revise my opinion of its kind, my kind. I am, or at least was, a dwarf. A creature of flesh. I have to keep reminding myself that. In fact, I think I may even try to become one again.
Come again?
I have decided to travel north to Tevinter. The Circle of Magi in Minrathruis has the largest collection of arcane knowledge in Thedas, or so I'm told. If it is possible to reverse this process, then the knowledge to do so will be there, or that is my hope. And if not, then I will keep looking. I have nothing if not time, yes?
Then good luck, Shale.
I intend to return eventually, unless I finally decide to destroy all pigeons everywhere. That may take a while, but otherwise I will come back. If it happens to one day see a tiny little dwarf who appears very nervous of being squished, that will be me. Until then, I wish it well. You have been a fine friend.
Goodbye, Shale.
Ah, glorious! You've really showed these humans something. Took down the Blight practically single-handed.
It's good of you to come, Goran.
I'm not just here to witness the whole human spectacle, however. The Assembly contacted me with a message for you. I guess they figured once a manservant, always a manservant. Ah, I don't mind. Thing is, we've both been given leave to return to Orzammar.
Both of us?
Apparently. I went down with you. Seems I rise back up with you too. Seems your brother is mighty grateful for what you did. We've been restored to House Iduken. Full rights and everything. And the Assembly is considering naming you a Paragon. Getting the humans to help Orzammar like you did, that should make it a lock.
A Paragon. That's exciting.
Not a bad change from an exiled murderer, no? Congratulations, my friend. So, you think you might head back home? To tell them of the humans coming at the very least.
Well, with the human armies, the dwarven armies pushing together, that's where the wardens will be needed. Absolutely.
Good. And I would be proud to take up my old position if you'll have me. At any rate, I'll let the humans get back to their dwarf worship. Still makes me smile to hear them talk. You know, I never could get used to that big hole in the sky. I'll be glad to get back underground.
So here we are. The conquering hero has won the day, and now he takes his bow and exits the stage. A fine ending.
But I'm not going anywhere.
But I may be, I'm afraid. You know, I can't help now but think of my vision. Whether it was the Maker sending me to you or whatever, it was a good thing. I thought I was supposed to save you, to show you the way. But it seems it was meant to be the other way around. Odd how that works, no?
Yes, I suppose it is.
I've been offered a position to head up an investigation into the Darkspawn. It's quite exciting, really.
But do you need help?
Oh no, you have your own things to keep you busy, I'm sure. It will be a grand adventure of my very own. I'm looking forward to it. At any rate, you should get back to the celebration. We can speak another time.
I will be relieved when all this pomp and ceremony is done. Such events are perfect opportunities for assassins, after all. I can't help but expect the crows to appear at any moment, which would be a welcome break, mind you.
A bloodbath sounds like a fun idea right about now.
You see? This is why I like you. Always game for a little fun. You know, it does occur to me that staying in one place is only going to invite the crows to find me that much quicker, while fun, that might eventually get complicated. You said earlier that you were planning on returning to the Grey Warden fold soon. Is that true?
This is indeed what I said.
The Grey Wardens seem to be a fun bunch to hang around, however. Maybe they won't mind a resident assassin. I'm an excellent mascot.
I'd be happy for the company, Zevran.
And I promise not to get you into too much trouble. Well, no more than you get me into, anyhow. Well then, since we're going to be leaving together, we can speak after you have been sufficiently paraded in front of the populace. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on you and make sure no one gets a clear shot. Not without paying me a great deal of coin, anyhow.
Zevran. Agron?
Humans have a better taste for spirits than I thought. The ale up here is actually good. Orzammar ale tastes like dirt in comparison. Probably because they put dirt in it. Go figure.
Think you might go back to Orzammar?
I don't know. Maybe eventually. I'm getting used to that big sky up there. And I'm thinking I might just look up Felsi again. See where that goes.
She's right next to you. Just treat her well, Agron.
Yeah, I'd better. She throws me out and shacks up with some poetess. I don't think my ego could take it. Ah, well, enough babbling. That pot-bellied son of a whore Tegan said I'd pass out before drinking an entire barrel of pickle juice. I aim to prove him wrong.
Take care of yourself, Agron.
It's been good traveling with you, Warden. Don't get lost in the shuffle now.
Okay. Sten?
It is good to see you again, Kadan. These people, they call you hero. It is a strange word, but I think I understand its meaning. The Arishok on occasion has declared a Kunari to be Kunoran Vel, one who serves as an example to others. Such examples are always made after their death, however, a death in service to the Kyun. A living Kunoran Vel would be too proud.
Nothing wrong with a little pride, you know.
I would argue, had you not ended a blight. For such an accomplishment, there may be allowances. What the human custom has in common with our own is that the declaration of a Kunoran Veil is a cause for much celebration. It is one of few occasions when the Kunari are permitted to engage in revelry. There is imbibing of spirits, public chanting, meditations abandoned. It is madness.
That would be quite a sight.
It is interesting. It can take days for the Ben Hasrath to restore order. There may even be executions. I suppose I should tell you. I have decided to return to my people. Your quest is done, and thus so is my reason for accompanying you.
And I was just starting to get used to you.
And I to you, strangely enough. It must be said. You found my sword and gave me a chance to restore my honor. I owe you a great debt.
You helped me as well. It's been good, Sten.
It has. That one of the Baz, a foreigner, would become known as Kadan to me. Unthinkable. Yet here it is. Perhaps I shall see you again one day. Until then, may you always find the path you seek. Farewell, Kadan.
Farewell, Sten. Farewell. I'm just gonna save here because this is gonna be my save, which I import in Awakening. I'm not sure if the choice with Queen Aurora will make any difference whatsoever in future games, but yeah, I'm just gonna preserve that choice.
Are you ready, my lord? The crowds outside are getting restless.
And if you don't save here, that choice will not get preserved because you get an auto, because otherwise you'd get a save after we kill the Archdemon, but before we make that choice. So yeah, something to consider here for anyone who plays the game. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Right. I'll take you there now. Follow me.
In the months that followed her coronation, Arnora proved herself an adept ruler. Trade agreements with the other lands quickly brought new funds into the royal coffers, and with them the queen saw the capital rebuilt. The army was restored, laws were passed to encourage freeholders to produce sufficient harvests, and plans were conceived for a university. As the years passed, Arnora continued to rebuff the advice of Ferelden's ability regarding that she remarry. Though prospective suitors from other nations visit Denerim from time to time, the queen's only comment is that all of them fall far short of the bar she measures them against, that of her father. Kinda hard, I know. Rumors that the urn of sacred ashes had been found and that it was used to heal Arl Eamon of his poisoning circulated Ferelden in the months following the Darkspawn defeat, slowly at first and with growing frequency as the Grand Cleric failed to deny them. Once the Chantry made several attempts to verify the rumors, however, then came an official decree that no resting place for the ashes had been found. If the urn of sacred ashes was in those ruins once, it was no longer. Following months of effort, the Tower of the Circle of Magi was finally cleansed of the last spirits to slip through the veil. No further abominations were created, and First Enchanter Irving was pleased to declare the circle safe. All that could be saved had been. With slavers shut down in the Alien Age, the lot of the city-born elves improved for a time. A food shortage years late forced Queen Arnora to come down hard on elven rioters, an act not quickly forgiven and a sign that tensions between the elves and humans were far from resolved. Shiani continued to be an outspoken member of the alienage community and in time became the new elder. That outspokenness earned her frequent trouble but served her people well. Arl Eamon returned to Redcliffe, beginning the long task of rebuilding. He found the village already bustling and eager to leave behind the memories of those terrible nights facing the undead. Lady Isolde bore her husband another child, this time a girl. The birth was difficult, however, and Isolde died in Eamon's arms. He named the child Rowan, after his own sister, and raised her with a loving hand. When she began to exhibit affinity for magic at a young age, he gave her over to the circle for training, but continued to visit her and loved her no less than before. The young woman Caitlin eventually made it to Denerim safely, and would use the small fortune she received for her father's sword to open a foundry while the city rebuilt. The foundry did well, turning her into a wealthy and respected woman. By chance, she met Tegan again at court, and within months the two of them married. In the Bruselian forest, the werewolves thrived for a time, living in the remains of the Dalish camp and enjoying recognition for their bravery at the siege of Denerim. Even the goodwill was only to last so long, however. Try though she might, the Lady of the Forest could not entirely suppress the werewolf's animal nature, not her own, nor her own, and eventually the curse spread into nearby human settlements. The werewolf population swelled until finally the army of Ferelden was called in to deal with the threat permanently. Many a werewolf died, but when the soldiers arrived at the old Dalish camp, they found it abandoned. The Lady of the Forest was gone, as were her followers, who were not seen again. In Orzammar, King Balin quickly proved himself a reformer. Trade with the surface lands increased and caste restrictions were loosened. The castles were permitted to take arms against Darkspawn in exchange for new freedoms. For the first time in generations, the line of the deep roads was pushed back, and a few taigs were recovered. Balin's reforms quickly found him enemies within the warrior and noble caste, however, and after several assassination attempts, the assembly was dissolved. The king then ruled alone. Some said as a tyrant, others said as a visionary, determined to drag Orzammar into the modern world. Kicking and screaming, but he would drag it into the modern world. When the first human armies arrived from Ferelden, King Balin welcomed them with open arms. Within months, the Darkspawn were driven back as far as the deep trenches, and the first dwarven warrior to return with a relic retaken from the gates of Orzammar was greeted by cheering, jubilant crowds. Hell yeah, I gave the dwarves a future. The assembly unanimously declared Duran a living paragon following months of deliberation. A new statue was erected in the Commons and a new house founded in the paragon's name, quickly drawing a great number of followers from every caste. The dwarven mage Dagna ultimately completed her studies at the rebuilt circle tower on the surface. Eventually, she published a comprehensive theory of how Lyrium vapors relate to the supply of magic. It gained a great deal of attention. This inspired mages from other parts of Thedas to establish a new circle of magi in Orzammar itself, one that had ready access to dwarven lyrium and lies outside the Chantry's power completely. The willingness of Orzammar to harbor apostates sparked outrage that began whispers that the divine was contemplating a new exalted march. Good luck with that. It was not long before Branka mastered Caradon's technique, learning how to use the Anvil of the Void to create new golems, the first in many centuries. The dwarven people greeted this news with cheers, though few knew of the cost. At first, King Balin worked eagerly with Branka to provide subjects, willing or not, so that the golems could push the Darkspawn back. This arrangement was not to last, however. Before long, Branka began to refuse to create golems only for the king, who soon banned the use of the anvil. His men attacked Branka's fortress in the deep roads, forcing her to shut it tight. Years into the siege, Balin was forced to relent. The fortress, guarded by Branka's golems, remained impenetrable. As good as her ward, Morrigan disappeared once the Archdemon was slain. Someone with Morrigan's description was seen traveling alone months later, heading west through the Frostback Mountains, and she may even be with child. The companions who had traveled with Duran eventually scattered to the four winds, drawn either by personal duty or the call to further adventure. The Grey Wardens welcomed their hero back into the fold gladly, eager to receive a hero who faced the Archdemon and lived to pass on the knowledge. As the blighted lands began to heal and the other Grey Wardens slowly rebuilt the order in Amaranthine, they discovered that the fight against the Darkspawn was not yet complete. I mean, come on, a blight does not mean... Just because you win against the blight doesn't mean you win against Darkspawn. Although the horde was rooted and had dissolved upon the Archdemon's death, many of the more powerful Darkspawn survived to organize roving bands that preyed upon both the land and each other. Those war bands spread havoc, and some even journeyed west into Orlais or crossed the Shining Sea by the deep roads. They proved incredibly difficult to wipe out. But these are tales yet to be told. This tale ended when Duran sank his blade in the Archdemon's head and destroyed it forever. It was not the last that Ferelden would hear of him, however. And that's it. That's it. That has been Dragon Age Origins. 60 hours, well, 55, give or take. You know, I'll give BioWare one thing with this game, that when you finish it, 55 hours from when you began, you do feel you accomplished something. It's not its length, it's how the game is built. There's some certain ambiance to it, there's a certain feeling of accomplishment that comes with it as well. So yeah, but, you know, that's probably one of the very few good things about the game. There are some good portions of it. And the thing that, you know, makes me hate BioWare for its fuck-ups more is that they do have good portions, very good portions in their games, but they have such incredibly high screw-ups as well that it does piss you off a great deal. Still, it's been an enjoyable journey, and I hope you enjoyed watching this walkthrough. Next up, well, I think I'm gonna go with Shogun 2, Follow Samurai. Costin here, signing out.